Hey guys, this is Emily Lopez, and right now I am removing a drop ceiling in an apartment, and we keep finding all sorts of funny discoveries. Oh my god, this is completely real. Okay, so last time we were here, I found some nudie mags that fell out of the ceiling. I just looked up and found So You Like Big Tits and Personal Video Magazine #5. So I think there might be some more discoveries to go. Wow. Okay. Anyway, I'm removing this drop ceiling. I've been posting on my Instagram, and one of my Instagram friends, Stephanie, said she has one in, I think, one of her units or her house that she wants to remove, but she wanted to know how. So I'm going to give you a couple tips with removing a drop ceiling. So in my case, because I'm renovating this whole apartment, I don't have to lay anything down to be careful. But if you were saving your flooring, if you wanted to protect your walls, you might want to do this a little bit more cautiously than the way that I'm doing it. The number one thing I would recommend when you're removing a drop ceiling is ask yourself why there's a drop ceiling. So I will show you a picture of the bathroom ceiling, which I've already removed. A lot of times the reason someone has done a drop ceiling is because there is something lower below the joist line that they have to account for. And if you remove a drop ceiling and do a drywall ceiling, you're either going to have to reroute some wiring and potentially some plumbing or whatever may be there, or you're going to have to do some bulkheads or bump outs to frame around that for drywall. So before you get crazy like I have and start tearing everything out, maybe lift some of those tiles out. You can just push them up and lift them to the side. Look up there with a flashlight. Make sure there's nothing that you are not able to relocate or it's not in your budget to relocate, because if you tear it out and you have to put a whole new one back in, it's a lot of work for no reason. So one, do some diagnostic work to make sure that it's appropriate for you to remove the drop ceiling in your space. Now I'm going to show you kind of the anatomy of a drop ceiling and show you how they are held up so you can kind of troubleshoot how you're going to start removing your drop ceiling. So I'm going to turn this camera around and show you a couple things. Drop ceilings are going to be attached at a couple places. All the way around the edge, they're going to have the perimeter pieces, which this is older, so it's nailed in. You may have it screwed in. In my case, it's nailed in. Then at the suspension points, I know it's dark, so I apologize. Back here, see that little wire? I'm touching it to try to get to focus. So the rails that go across, those have to be held level to support the weight. So you're gonna have those hanging onto your bracket, some wire or some sort of a mounting bracket, and then you're gonna have your end pieces. Now where they go together, this one I've already mangled. I just wanna show you. You're gonna take it out carefully. See how it slides in? You have like brackets like that, and it could have slid in from either way. So this one, if I was demoing it nicely, I would have pushed it that direction to slide that out. Here's another example that's intact. So if I wanted to take this out carefully, I would get like a hammer or mallet and hit this way to get this piece to disconnect. And this is just an example of where the cross pieces go together. So really your first step is going to be to take out your tiles, or as many of them as you can. If you can get out from under it and from the side, like I did a really big office building once, and I cut a bunch of those wires from above because I could get above it. They had dropped the ceiling, and I got the whole thing to fall. So you're going to have those attachments, and those pieces. So really, once you see where your tiles are and you start dropping it and you start taking some of these pieces out, it's going to come down really easy. But it is going to be messy because if you had a drop ceiling for a long time, there might be a lot of hair, dust, debris, who knows. So it's going to be messy. So if you are not replacing your floor, as much as this is lovely golden orange shag carpet, I'm replacing it. If you weren't, you would definitely want to make sure to protect your flooring. And honestly, these brackets can kind of scratch your walls on the way down. So if you have drywall or wall, whatever material that you're saving, you would want to protect that too. Protect your doors or remove them so they don't come down and break a door or something like that if you're not replacing them. So keep that in mind. So I'll show you, I'll get a little piece and show you close up kind of how it comes apart and goes together. Okay, so here's a piece, just kind of a cross panel. Just for you to see, that's where the tile would sit, and then it would be on your ceiling like that. So here's the connection I was talking about. See how you can see the difference on the side? Here's where it's slid in, and it's slid into those brackets. So when I was demoing it, what I was just doing is kind of just slides right out. If it's stuck, you maybe can grab it with a channel lock and pull it out, or a vice grip. But they just slide in, so they're really easy to take apart. The other thing I'd say, just to be super careful of, guys, is for example, right here, see how the light is really hanging on this system. Depending on if these have been properly installed, you might not have the junction boxes that you would want to have. Make sure all your electricity is disconnected up here, because if things are dropping and that wire connection pulls, it can arc and spark. We don't want arc and spark, right? So make sure you're disconnecting your lights or turning off the power to your lights before you just drop something, so you're not creating an arc and spark or something dangerous like that. So pretty simple, you guys. I think they look, I mean, once you open them up, you can really kind of start seeing where pieces come apart. And I think the biggest thing is really just making sure that you want to remove your ceiling and you can make it work once it's down, and there's not too much you have to reroute. So that's it. Hope this was helpful. And if you are watching this video and it's helpful to you, please like and subscribe to this channel, and come back to see what we're doing next. So see you guys later. Have a beautiful day.